Hello, everybody. So, in today's lesson, we're going to use our skills in adding and subtracting fractions with unlike denominators to do some problem solving. And we're going to work on the strategy work backwards to help us solve these problems. So, let's look at the unlock the problem. We're on page 291 of the fifth grade Go Math textbook. So, the Diaz family is cross country skiing the Big Tree Trails, which have a total length of 4 miles. Yesterday, they skied 7/10 mile. Today, they skied 3/5 mile. If they plan to ski all of the big tree trails, how many more miles do they have left to ski? Okay, so we're given two amounts and the total. So we basically know that if we add these together and subtract from 4, we'll know how much to go. So I need to find the distance they have left to ski. I need to use the distance they have already skied. And the distance they plan to ski. So if you add what they've already skied plus how much they plan to ski, that'll give us the total amount. So I can work backwards by starting with the total distance of 4 miles and subtract each distance. And that'll give us how much further they have to go to reach 4 miles. All right, so this time we're going to work, rather than writing a flowchart, we're going to write an actual equation. So miles skied yesterday. So yesterday they skied 7/10 mile. Today they skied 3/5. The miles they need to ski will represent with a letter. It can be any letter, okay? And the total distance is 4. So now we're going to work backwards. We're going to start with the total distance 4. We'll subtract 3/5 and subtract 7/10. And what's left will be the distance they need to ski. So let's start with 4, take away 3/5. Well, I'm going to rename the 4 as 3 and 5/5. Okay, so 5/5 take away 3/5 is 2/5, and 3 take away nothing is 3. So now we have 3 and 2/5, and we have to take away 7/10. Well, 10 and 5 are opposite, unlike denominators, but I can turn the fifths into tenths by multiplying by 2. So 4/10. So we have 3 and 4/10 minus 7/10. Okay, well, we can't take 7/10 from 4/10. So we'll have to rename the 3 holes as 2 holes and add 10/10 to the 4/10. That'll leave us with 10 and 14/10 minus 7/10. 14 take away 7 is 7/10. 2 take away nothing is 2. So our unknown distance is 2 and 7/10 miles. How do we know our answer is reasonable? Well, if we add 7/10 plus 3/5 plus 2 and 7/10, we'll get 4. Okay, so if I didn't get 4, I wouldn't have the correct answer. Okay, so if I add 2 and 7/10 to the 7/10 and 3/5, I should get 4. Let's just confirm that. 7/10. We already said 3/5 is the same as 6/10. So that's 13/10. which is equal to 1 and 3/10. 13 divided by 10 is 1. There would be a remainder of 3, and our divisor was 10. So 1 and 3/10 plus 2 and 7/10. 7/10 and 3/10 is 10/10. 2 plus 1 is 3. Well, 10/10 is equal to 1, so 3 plus 1, 4. So our answer is reasonable. All right, let's try another one. As part of their study of Native American basket weaving, Leah's class is making wicker baskets. Leah starts with a strip of wicker 36 inches long. From the strip, she first cuts one piece, but does not know its length. Then cuts a piece 6.5 inches long. The piece that's left is 7 3/4 inches. What is the length of the first piece? All right, so what do we need to find out? We need to find out the length of the first piece she cut from the strip. What information do I need to know? Well, I need to know the length of the original strip. We need to know how long the two lengths that are remaining. Okay, so we need the original lengths given. They gave us 6.5 and 7 3/4 are two of the strips. We have to find the third strip. So how I use the information? Well, remember we're working backwards. So I will work backward from the total length of the strip and subtract the lengths of the given strips. Okay, so what's that going to look like? Well, we have 36, right? The total. So we have our first cut. We can call that X, we can call it N, whatever you want. Plus her first cut, which was 6.5 inches, plus what was left has to equal 36. Okay, so how can we figure out what this X is? Well, we can go backwards and just subtract 7 3/4 and subtract 6.5 from 36 to get our unknown value. So let's start with 36 minus 7 3/4. Well, right now, 36 basically has 0/4. So I'm going to rename that as 35 4/4. Subtract, we're going to get 1/4 and 28. So 28 1/4 minus 6 1/2. I can turn 1/2 into fourths by multiplying by 2. So 28 1/4 minus 6 2/4. I can't take 2/4 from 1/4, so I'll rename using one of the ones from 28, and I'm going to add 4/4 to the 1/4. All right, so 5/4 take away 2/4 is 3/4, and 27 take away 6 is 21. So her first cut was 21 3/4 inches. Let's see if that makes sense. Well, 21, that's close to 22, right? 22, 28, 35. So we're really close. So I think that's a reasonable answer. All right, 293, number one. Caitlin has 4 3/4 pounds of clay. She uses 1 1/10 pounds to make a cup and another 2 pounds to make a jar. How many pounds are left? So first, write an equation to model the problem. Well, she has 4 3/4 total pounds of clay. She used 1 1/10 to make a cup and another 2 pounds to make a jar. How much is left? Well, if we take the amount left, I'll put clay, C for clay, plus how much she used for the cup, plus the 2 pounds she used to make a jar, has to be 4 3/4. Okay, so the two projects plus whatever's left equals 4 3/4. Oh, they wanted us to use x, sorry. So work backwards and rewrite the equation to find x. So 4 3/4 minus 2 pounds minus 1 1/10 pounds equals x. Okay, and let's solve that. 4 3/4 minus 2. Okay, that's easy. That's 2 3/4. 2 3/4 minus 1 1/10. Well, I know 10 can go 10, 20, 30, 40, right? And 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So we can turn these into 20ths. So we have 2 and 15 20ths. Subtract 1 and 2 20ths. All right, well, 15 take away 2 is 13 20ths. And 2 take away 1 is 1. So she has 1 and 13 20ths left. Number 2. Well, what if Caitlin had used more than 2 pounds of clay to make a jar? So here in the problem, she only used 2 cups. So basically, we're saying that we'd actually be using more of the clay. So if you're using more of the clay, would the amount remaining have been more or less? Well, if I use more clay, I have to have less left. Okay. Number 3. A pet store donated 50 pounds of food for adult dogs, puppies, and cats to an animal shelter. 19 3/4 was dog food. 18 7/8 was puppy food. And it wants us to find out how many pounds of cat food did the store donate. Okay, so it's basically the cat food plus the puppy food plus the adult dog food, 19 3/4 equals the 50 pounds. Okay, so the cat food donated plus the puppy food plus the dog food has to equal 50 pounds. Well, we can just work backwards then. 50 minus 19 3/4 minus 18 7/8 equals the cat food. Okay, well, 50 minus 19 3/4. Well, right now, 50 is 50 0/4. So I'm going to rename that as 49 4/4. 4/4 take away 3/4 is 1/4. 49 take away 19, that's going to be 30. 9 take away 9 is 0. 4 take away 1 is 3. So now we have 30 1/4. we have to subtract 17 and 7/8. I can make fourths in the eighths by multiplying by 2. All right, so we have 18 and 7/8 taken from 30 and 2/8. Well, we can't take 7/8 from 2/8. So let's rename the 30 as 29 and add 8/8. So that's going to leave us with 10/8. So 29 and 10/8 take away 18 and 7/8. 10/8 take away 7/8 is 3/8. 9 take away 8 is 1, and 2 take away 1 is 11. So 11 and 3/8 pounds of cat food was donated. All right, number 4. Thelma spent 1/6 of her weekly allowance on dog toys, 1/4 on a dog collar, and 1/3 on dog food. What fraction of her weekly allowance is left? So the amount left plus 1/3 plus 1/4 plus 1/6 has to equal 1. The reason I say 1 is because the whole allowance is 1 whole. Okay, so these fraction amounts will add up to 1 whole of her allowance. So let's work backwards. 1 minus 1/6 minus 1/4 minus 1/3 equals the amount she has left. So 1 minus 1/6. Well, let's change the 1 to 6/6. So that's 5/6. Now take away 1/4. 5/6 take away 1/4. I'm going to turn them both into twelfths. And that leaves me 7/12 minus 1/3. I can turn thirds into twelfths by multiplying by fourths. And 7/12 take away 4/12 is 3/12. So M equals 3/12 or 1/4 of her allowance is left. Okay. How do I know that 3/12 is the same as 1/4? Because 3 is a common factor to 3 and 12. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So 1/4 of her allowance is left. Number 5. Moderton is making a model of a Native American canoe. He has 5.5 feet of wood. He uses 2 3/4 feet for the hull and 1 1/4 feet for a paddle. How much wood does he have left? So I'm going to use W for the amount of wood left, plus the 2 3/4 feet for the hull, plus the 1 1/4 feet for the paddle, equals 5.5. The amount he has left, plus the hull, plus the paddle, gives me 5.5 feet. So if I work backwards, it's going to be 5.5 minus 1 1/4 minus 2 3/4 equals the amount of wood left. All right, I can turn halves into fourths by multiplying by 2. So 5 2/4 minus 1 1/4. So if we subtract the paddle, he'd have 4 1/4 feet left. And then we're going to subtract 2 3/4 feet for the hole. Well, I can't take 3 from 1, so I'm going to rename the 4 holes as 3 holes and add 4/4. So that would be rewritten as 3 5/4 minus 2 3/4. 5 take away 3 is 2/4, and 3 take away 1 is 1. Okay, 1 2/4, we know 2 is a common factor. So 1/2. 1 1/2. Okay, number 6. Beth's summer vacation lasted 87 days. At the beginning of her vacation, she spent some time at soccer camp, 5 days at grandma's, 13 days visiting the Great Glacier National Park, and then she had 48 vacation days remaining. How many weeks did Beth spend at soccer camp? Okay, well, if we take the soccer camp time and add the 5 days at her grandmother's and the 13 days at Glacier National, plus her remaining vacation days, it has to add up to 87. So let's work backwards. 87 minus 48 minus 13 minus 5 gives us the time she spent at camp. 87 take away 48 is 39. 9 plus 8 is 17. Regroup 1. 4 and 3 is 7, plus 1 more is 8. So 39 minus 13 minus 5 equals the time spent at summer camp. 39 minus 13 is 26. Sorry, 26 minus 5. And 26 minus 5 equals the amount of time left. So now it wants to know how many weeks. So she spent 21 days. So I have to take 21 days and divide by 7. 21 divided by 7 is just 3. So she spent 3 weeks at soccer camp. Okay, so all we did was subtract. 87 take away 48 gave me 39. I subtracted 13 from 39 and it gave me 26. I subtracted the remaining 5 and it gave me 21 days. But it didn't ask me how many days, it said how many weeks. So we have to convert those 21 days into weeks. All right. Number 7. You can buy 2 DVDs for the same price you would pay for 3 CDs selling for $13.20 a piece. Explain how you could find the price of 1 DVD. Okay, so find the cost of 3 CDs by multiplying 3 by 1320. Use that total and divide by 2 to find cost of 1 CD. So 1320 times 3, 3960, divide by 2. All right, so if we multiply the total amount that we spent on the 3 CDs, they're going to spend $39.60. They're saying that I can buy 2. I know it's a problem, so let me go back and reread this. Find the cost of 3 CDs by multiplying 3 times 1320. We're going to use that total and divide by 2 to find the cost of 1 DVD. So we found out the cost of the 3 CDs was $39.60. They said the cost of the 2 CDs was the same amount as the CDs. So 39.60 divided by 2 gives me $19.80 for each DVD. And number 8. Julio caught 3 fish weighing 23.5 pounds. One fish weighed 9 5/8 pounds. Another weighed 6 1/4 pounds. How much does the third fish weigh? Use numbers and symbols to write an equation that represents the problem. All right, so we know the weight of the 3 fish added together has to be 23.5. So we can go one fish, 9 5/8, plus 6 1/4, plus an unknown amount, the third fish, has to add up to 23.5 pounds. So we could have 23.5 minus 9 5/8 minus 6 1/4 equals X. So 23.5 minus 9 5/8. We have to find a common denominator. I multiply 1/2 by 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So we have 23 4/8 minus 9 5/8. Well, I can't take 5/8 from 4/8, so I'll rename 23 as 22 and add 8/8. So we have 22 12/8 minus 9 5/8. Okay, so 8 and 4 is 12, so 12/8. I'm just moving it down here to make sure I have enough room. 12 take away 5 is 7, so 7/8, and 22 take away 9 is 13. So 13 7/8. We also have to subtract the 6 1/4. I can multiply this 1/4 by 2 to get 6 2/8. So 13 7/8 minus 6 2/8. 7 take away 2 is 5/8, and 13 take away 6 is 7. So his other fish weighed 7 5/8 pounds. Okay, so that's it for using problem solving and writing and working backwards using fractions with unlike denominators and the strategy working backwards. In our last lesson of this chapter, we're going to be using properties of addition to solve fraction problems. So until then, I will see you soon.